Hey everybody, welcome back to the K2N Online Paddle School. We are back here on YouTube and we have another episode of the K2N vlog. I do not have a whole lot of footage compiled from the last week. We did not have a race event. I spent the majority of my week working with paddlers from out of state or out of country that have come to Hernando, or I've been traveling a small distance to meet with them and work with them. I don't typically video or make media out of these sessions. I try to keep some of that working together with people private, partly because many of them come from other paddling organizations or other paddling ecosystems that have local coaches or local friends that do these things, and I don't want to broadcast my interaction with them and then lead to some awkward situation for them when they return home. So there are a lot of times where I'm working constantly during the week and I'm not going to video it or film it or anything because that session is between me and the person that I'm working with. On the flip side of that, I spent the majority of the week doing that and not getting footage for this, right? So I'm just going to compile some footage that I do have on my phone, and we'll just kind of go through the commentary from there. So this week's talking point is trying to enjoy the process. Try to have fun as you make your steps forward in your paddling journey. I spend a lot of time following other sports, and collegiately, professionally, whatever it is, and I run my own organization here in Hernando, and I like to look at coaching dynamics, athlete dynamics, and some of the mentality that goes into different organizations to help them find some success in the long term. Having fun is one of my favorite ideas that you will find amongst many of these higher level organizations. It's such a simple term, but there's a little bit more to it. Having fun, right? You're trying to stay positive with everything that you're doing, right? You want to do something simply because you enjoy it. Now, when we look at the progression of paddling and paddling technique and your overall prowess and mastery of the sport, doing it by itself and having fun is one aspect, but you need to have fun in all aspects. In the arduous training and the interval sessions and working on technique and taking in new information and learning an idea that is difficult for you, you want to try to have fun with all of these different components that go into progressing. And so when we say having fun, people fixate on the things that they like doing, right? And they have fun when they're paddling easy or going for a social paddle, or they're having fun when they're doing the things that they're already good at. Working on your weaknesses and highlighting the things that you're not so good at, trying to process information that you don't understand and you can't make your body do. You have to find the joy in these systems. Any athlete that is successful at a high level is able to do this, right? They're able to find a level of enjoyment in some things that may be semi-torturous, whether it's mentally or physically. Like, you have to force yourself to do these things, but one of the motivating factors that allows you to get up in the morning and to put in this time, effort, and quality levels of focus into it is you have to have fun. For me personally, right, I'm able to find the joy in these ideas when they lead to performance increases, right? I am very performance oriented when it comes to my individual success. And so that being said, I can find a lot of fun racing against my watch. Racing against the clock now puts me against a bunch of past versions of myself, right? And going out there every second and every meter that you're going through, you know that you're ahead or you're behind, and you're constantly in this high stakes situation of performance. Looking at the time orientation and the end result of that is something that keeps me motivated. One of the big focuses of doing technique and making sure that progress is revealing itself is for this end outlet. I can go out there by myself and race against the clock in a circle on a pond in the middle of nowhere and be perfectly content because I find it so interesting. Focusing on my weaknesses within the stroke and trying to make it into a game. We talk about distance per stroke and strokes per minute. Can I cap my strokes per minute to 40, and can I get 12 feet or 13 feet or 14 feet? This makes a game out of every stroke that you take, and this is another thing that for me personally makes it fun. Putting these ideas into practice. At our club practice, we race each other 3 times a week on the lake, where we go around a very specific lap We have boats that are going to try to be paired up to be a similar speed. We have to navigate turns side by side with other vessels to push yourself and time your pushes in order to win. All of these things for me are very thrilling, right? Putting these ideas into practice in a live action type scenario. These are things for me that get me excited. These are things that make me want to push harder. These are things that make me want to keep moving forward with the progress that everything brings together. These are ideas that motivate me personally, right? But for you and your structure, you should find a way to make all of these aspects fun and something that you look forward to and something that motivates you to continue doing it. Whether it's paddling with a group of people or whether it's making goals and having ideas that you're trying to reach, whether it's trying to gamify some of these ideas with training and drilling. And ultimately, you have to enjoy the process, right? It is always a very small game of millimeters as we are traveling forward, right? You put in a lot of work and you get a little bit of a return for it. And over a very long period of time, you may get a big return. And this entire process of traveling forward, right? This is something that you have to enjoy and you have to love it. Because at any point, if you start hating it, if you don't like it, you can't progress forward because you're not going to be quite as motivated to do the things that you need to in order to get better. You have to have fun and you have to enjoy this process. You don't enjoy it and you want it to come quickly, you are always going to stagnate in your overall progress. So let me know, how do you have fun in this, and what are some of the things that you absolutely hate within paddling, and what would be a way that you could try to make it more fun for yourself? Next week we will have footage from the Weeki Wachee race. If you're not familiar with the Weeki Wachee, it is 118 turns up and down a really narrow creek. I will be racing a surf ski. I will have my head cam on, so it should be some pretty good footage next week. Thank you all so much again for watching, and we'll see you all next week with the next episode of the K2N vlog. All right, welcome back to Lake Hernando. So when I was making the vlog, I forgot that we spent some time surfing behind a boat on Lake Hernando. My wife is in the surf ski here, and I'm on the stand-up paddleboard. We got Hank with his boat, and he's very knowledgeable on surfing and drafting, so he's able to change the pitch of his motor to throw off a big wave and then monitor the speed in half-mile increments for us to surf behind it. So this was a lot of fun. The water is still pretty cold. Its air temperature has gone way back up. And yeah, I haven't been on the SUP a whole lot. There's not a big race scene here in Central Florida, so it's not an outlet to spend time on it. But you know, I know my way around a SUP. And so surfing here, this is my favorite clip because you don't see it too often, but everybody falls eventually. So right here, boom, fell off the wave, got hit sideways. But yep, surfing behind the wave, this is always a lot of fun. You can see the speedometer. We're going 8-9 miles an hour here behind the boat. The SUP is really easy to surf behind it because the board is so short when you step back on the tail to lift the nose up. And so, yep, this is a little section here going around. If you are not familiar with surfing waves, if you paddle mostly flat water like we do here in Lake Hernando, these boat surfing sessions are excellent because the boat is going to throw off a wave and it ends up being like an endless wave. So the positioning, the speed in which you need to catch it, how little you can paddle to continue surfing it, how to steer in it. There's so many things that you can work on. And if the boater is a friend and they have some idea of what's going on and they're there for you, if you were to fall off or fall off of the wave, they can slow back down and restart this endless wave for you to get more repetitions in being in these situations. Downwinding is literally just these waves, except they're smaller, right? They're not quite as long. The power source creating them is not right in front of you in a motor. So they start and they end, right? But then you catch the next wave, which would be another wave just like you're on, right? So this gives you some idea of what you're trying to do. With downwinding, you're constantly going over the high points of the next wave in order to surf on the low point of the next one. And you have this ebb and flow of traveling from high points to low points. With this, you just have one giant one essentially that you just surf again endlessly. So it's good repetition, it's a good learning experience, and it's a lot of fun. I'm on the SUP here going 7-8 miles an hour, and you feel like you're flying. And I can make this board go like 6 miles an hour when I'm, you know, hoofing on it. So going this fast, missing some strokes, and just gliding at this high speed, it's always a lot of fun. The surf ski and the OC Doesn't surf quite as well because it's a little longer in comparison to the wave size here, but you can still get into the trough and you know, get pulled along at a pretty adequate speed. So yeah, I could have made this whole vlog video about the surfing aspects and how to train some downwind variables on flat water. I totally forgot we had this until I checked my phone. So the next footage that we're going to go through is some of the racing that we do during the week. And we have this 2-loop lap that we do that's about 3 miles. I'm in the OC2 with Jessie here, who is part of the club, and she's done a couple of races and stuff. We got John Radford from Kansas City in the pedal surf ski. My wife is in my McGregor surf ski, and then Larry is in a surf ski in the back there. John pushed ahead pretty far, but I had a feeling that we'd catch up to him before the top turn. You can see myself in the back there taking some draw strokes to pull the tail around. The OC2 is really long, so giving a little extra help goes a long way in cutting those turns short, and we're able to get ahead of John here. My wife is drafting right behind us. I think me and Jessie averaged under 9-minute miles here, and my wife drafted us, I believe, the entire way, so she was also under 9-minute miles, which is a pretty good run for her. That's like 6.7 miles an hour. She hasn't spent a ton of time in the surf ski, but she's gotten much faster in the OC1, and a lot of those ideas translate over into the surf ski. So you can see some of that strength and paddle mastery showing itself through. So we're able to finish ahead of her. I can't let her pass me easily. And then, flying the arm over the dock. I didn't realize that was part of this montage. My buddy was like, do it with your Draco, you wuss. And I wouldn't do that. My Draco is too nice to damage. So we got another OC2, Ray and Gina. We got Christina is in the OC1, and then Larry is in the surf ski. He's also visiting from Kansas City with John Radford. He's borrowing my V10 Sport, so not the fastest boat in the world. Larry throws off quite a bit of wake, so I was just working on my drafting skills and just seeing how few strokes I could take in order to keep up. I think my average stroke rate here was like 46 or 45. I was getting like 13 feet per stroke, partially from the draft. You can see my cheeky quick turn there. I put my foot in the water to slow down the boat and pulled the tail around, and Larry went a little wide there with the side wind. So from this situation, I want him back in front of me, so I just went slow until he started past me. This is coming into the final turn. From that buoy to the last buoy is 100 meters, and it's good practice to kind of time your push and you know, give it a little extra on that last bit. Timing your energy and timing when you can paddle fast is invaluable in order to cross the finish line first. So it's all part of the game of trying to figure out, you know, all these little details, and again, makes it fun. And we got the Weeki Wachee race coming up Saturday. I'll be racing surf ski. It's my first surf ski race since like last April or something. It's been a while since I've done a surf ski race. I've been going out more and more, working on my technique and movement, and I'm pretty happy with my overall speeds and stuff. I'm back up to my lifetime best speeds, which is, it's nice. You know, practicing the different disciplines, it's tough being good at all of them simultaneously, and I try to hold myself to a certain standard before racing one craft versus the other, just because I don't want to go out and put out a poor performance. So I'm pretty excited to race Weeki Wachee and probably a couple more surf ski races in this springtime here. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for checking out the vlog. If there's anything you'd like to see talked about or seen shown, feel free to leave a comment, send me an email anytime. Thank you guys again. We'll see you all next week for the next episode of the K2N vlog.